Thank you for
Yeah.
jumping on and sharing your journey.
Thank
All right. So we're recording. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's dive in. This is episode 59 of season 2 of the Launch Your Biz Now podcast, the podcast for all new and aspiring business owners. And today on the show, I have one of my beautiful, wonderful students from my Launch Your Biz Now course, the last intake, Abbey Ward. Welcome to the show, Abby.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here. A little bit
I'm
nervous,
so
but
excited. You don't need to be nervous at all. It is so fun. It's just a big chat that I say to everyone that we've just got all
yes.
of these thousands of people that are listening to. So no pressure. No, very good. So yeah, you've just finished the course and you have just launched, like really just launched your new business. Do you want to give us your elevator pitch on your new business and what it is that you do?
Yes. Well, thanks to Sarah, I have an elevator pitch now.
Done well.
So what I do is I help past or present breastfeeding mamas cherish their breastfeeding journey through custom one of a kind jewellery pieces containing their breast milk or other DNA inclusions, so that they can recognise and remember the beautiful breastfeeding journey that they have, in a tangible way and have a piece of goodness, a beautiful piece for a long time to come. This means that they have a keepsake to hold and remember the challenges, the loving eyes looking up at them, and the sleepless nights, and most importantly, the beautiful bond that they've made.
Oh, I don't know whether
My elevation.
it's beautiful, and I think it just every time I hear it, because obviously now I know your elevator pitch, it just pulls at my heartstrings, and I'm not sure if that's because I'm a breastfeeding mum right now as well, or a new mum, or whatever else, but it's just, oh,
Yes.
like you've got such a beautiful business that people just can build a connection with so fast. Like I just talk about business, it's pretty boring. But, yours is just such a lovely thing. It's got so much meaning behind it. It is a very, very cool business. So, where are we up to? What's happening at the moment for you with the business? What's been going on?
Well, so I officially launched my website last Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday. So I've been posting like crazy, I feel, on social media since then. Um, Getting a little bit of traction, which has been exciting. I'm loving getting some messages from people as well. Because yeah, I really am enjoying the interaction with people rather than kind of doing that background stuff that you're just feeling like you're slogging away but not really getting anywhere at the time.
Yes. And what sort of messages have you been getting? Are they engaging with your launch content or just, congratulating you? What are people saying?
I'm getting a bit of both. So it's been really lovely that some of our other local kind of pre and postnatal supports have been sharing the page. So that's been amazing and thank you.
Uh-huh.
And then I've been getting some people inquiring about like different options that I've got, um, different colors, and just also some comparison stuff, which has been really cool because I guess it's been able, like, I'm learning then what I have and don't have on my website, which can be really useful. An example of that, I guess, is when you've got like natural breast milk set in a piece versus added some white pigment or adding some pearl pigment and the different colors that kind of gives off.
Mm.
So yeah, that's been really nice to kind of have people ask me them questions because I don't I didn't know that I needed to have that until them questions were asked because when I'm doing it all the time, I don't even think about these things. But
And so
it's been really
true,
cool.
isn't it? Like, I think, it's so easy just to answer them, but I love what you're doing where you're answering the questions and then sort of like, adding it into a frequently asked questions, box where you're starting to
Yeah,
include that on your website and make
yeah,
sure that you're meeting people's objections and,
yeah,
or questions or anything else is that, because one of the things that we talk about in the course is wanting to move them through that buyer's journey to know, like, and trust you. And of course, any of these
yeah.
obstacles that are in the way stopping that process. So
Mhm.
awesome work by jumping in and making those changes. That is very, very cool. So we are 3 months, pretty much give or take, since we first started the course. So
Mm,
it has been a bit of a journey since then. So,
yes.
and we didn't have you on the podcast back in September and to talk about that. So we've got all sorts of stuff that we can cover in this. So
Yeah.
pre doing the course, where were you sitting? What were you feeling? What were you up to? How were things looking?
So, I first did my breast milk and DNA inclusion jewellery course back in 2020, so middle of COVID lockdown. We all know what that was like. Um, and I'd made a Facebook page, made an Instagram, would randomly post photos, delete them occasionally because I'm like, oh, I don't really know. I don't like how that looks. Um, I had my business name, but it wasn't registered. I was literally just running it as a side hustle, um, but not really running it at the same time because life would get in the way and I'd become distracted. So I just didn't really have a clear pathway of where I was going or what I needed to do. And that's when I reached out to you, Sarah, and was like, I don't know, I just need something. So it kind of come at a perfect time for me when I was on maternity leave to jump into the course and be able to do that and get my business off the ground rather than kind of continuing doing what it was doing.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of baby talk through the course as well. So it's talking managing the best of both of our lives and all of our
Yes.
lives. So
It's like
that's
our own
been
mother's group pretty
oh,
much.
honestly, we might as well just call it
Yes.
that, like, mothers that business or something like that, and just start like a little side niche down that road. Because
Yes.
what do you do? It's all about this new world where we're trying to balance and do everything right. So, hey.
Exactly.
But no, that's awesome. So you jumped into the course, wanted that accountability and a bit of framework that you were working through. So, how have you found it? So I guess maybe if we break it down into the sort of the sections and go through what you've implemented and maybe what you're still planning to implement and maybe the different areas of the business and things that might have stood out or who knows. So to start with, we really got to identify your customer. And probably after you said what you said before about putting posts out and deleting it, and not feeling like it was, I'm thinking that this might have been a good thing for you because it got really clear in your messaging and who you're talking to. And then, of course, we tested the idea, which you'd pretty much done anyway. Like this business was sort of working as a side hustle.
Yeah.
What was your feels through that? How did that go for you?
So I was so thankful because I did actually get quite a lot of responses from my ideal customer um in that first week, I think
Mm,
it was.
mhm.
um, when we did the survey things. Um, so it was reassuring for me that I was on the right path, but I really did need to have a better message. And I guess it also, like, with reflection, I really found that that was probably the biggest thing that was stopping me because I didn't know my messaging of what I was putting on Instagram. I mostly post on Instagram. But what I was putting out there was like really random, or I didn't know how much to advertise and not advertise and put my own personal stuff onto Instagram or social media. So that's what I found, that just really kind of pulled it in a little bit for me of who I was talking to, which I get, like, I knew who I was talking to, but I didn't know how to talk to them
Yep.
in a
Yep.
way, if that makes sense.
That completely makes sense, which was probably, we're going a bit sidetracked, but that's probably that marketing piece when we started in that marketing and the sales side.
Mhm.
So, after we discovered who your customer was, then we started working on your marketing plan and your freebie and building out your sales funnel. How's that looking for you? What have you done? What do you want to do? What were your learnings from that?
So I love my freebie. So I really enjoyed making it. Sorry, I can't remember what you asked then.
No, I love your freebie too. What's it called again? I can never remember the name.
Oh gosh.
I know. We might need to get it up. It's
I've read it so many times that I
is it
can't. Guide to Cherishing Your Breastfeeding Journey.
The Guide to Cherishing Your Breastfeeding Journey? How beautiful is that? And I love this too. I think you've done a really good thing because one of the things you have with your business is with me, it's pretty easy because people understand what business is. So I can talk to the pain points and the problems and the reasons and, those sorts of things and people sort of get it. with yours and a couple of the other students that we had in the course as well, people are unfamiliar with your business offering. Some people have no idea that there's this thing out there called DNA jewelry and, what that means and why they would want it. So for yours, we had to do a bit of a different sort of spin with the marketing. We had to, before we could sell to people and before we could tell people why they need it, or no, actually, yeah, no, we had to start introducing the concept to them
Yeah.
and then explain why they need it. So your freebie was designed and you did a great job of walking them through this journey. So it's got these ways that you can cherish breastfeeding, which, might be different things people can jump on. I'll put it in the show notes, and you can jump onto the link and download the freebie to see for yourself. But there's different ways you can cherish your breastfeeding journey, such as breast milk baths and all these cool things. And one of these ideas in there is breast milk jewelry. And so, it's just introducing this concept to people and getting them ready to go, oh, yeah, okay, that is something that I might like in my life. That is something that I might want to remember. So you did a wonderful job of that. So very, very cool. And it's beautiful. So hopefully people jump on and get that for themselves
Yeah.
to have a look. So, and really key, like, you've got a custom product business. So people are, going to buy off you and they're putting their trust, they're putting their breast milk or their, DNA or whatever it is into you. So it helps to just build up that trust for that buying process. So that's very cool. And so from there, so your marketing at the moment, what are you doing as part of your launch plan? How's that looking?
So my launch plan is pretty much just doing a post every day at the moment.
Mhm.
I'm trying my hand at reels, not so great at them and not so confident to put my face in front of the camera yet. Um, but just kind of trying to do some posts, um, like every day. And with that, I'm kind of showing my product. I'm showing myself as well, just photos, um, to just really try and build the connection with my ideal customer.
Mm.
Um, and what else am I doing? So I'm cross posting that between Facebook and Instagram at the moment.
Perfect.
And then also promoting my free guide with the plan of making a lead generation ad from that or with that very soon.
Perfect. Perfect. Because that's what we want to do. Like with the freebie, we want to get people into the email list or into your world and then start taking that on them on the journey where they're discovering what breast milk jewelry is, why it's important, all that sort of stuff. So it's a nice journey for them to be on. It's very fun. So, all right, we've got a bit sidetracked there. So then we came back to the business entity. So this is all, the business stuff that we needed to set up. So this was a pretty big module for some people. So this is the entities, the insurances, legal stuff, all of that stuff. What were your learnings from that?
So for me, it was just like it was really biting the bullet and actually talking to my accountant because I'd sat on the fence for so long with like, oh, do I register it? Do I not? And like with working as well, like there was all that tax side of things and how that would impact me and my husband's business as well. So it was just really good to kind of have my accountant support with like telling me, Abby, just go and do this, it will be fine. Um, and then I get like I feel like I was or she felt I was capable is what I'm trying to say, to register my own business name. Or she registered my business name. I did the ABN side of things.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so that was cool to kind of give me a bit of confidence to be able to do that stuff as well.
Oh,
And
awesome.
then
That is so good. Very cool. And so, yeah, in that we'd done the business name, but you had your business name, so that was all good. We got all of that business stuff set up, and then we moved on to the branding. And you have beautiful branding. And did you have your logo done already, or you just made some tweaks in it? I can't
um,
remember.
I feel like I've had about 100 copies of my logo. At this point, I have to keep going through my Canva and culling them because I'm like, I don't even know what one I'm up to at this point. Um, so I kind of had structure of my branding already. So I had the colors and things like that, but it's definitely developed a long way since kind of the start of the course.
Mm.
And that's been, I think, really helpful to be in the course and in the community, like in our group community. Um, because I've been able to ask people like, "What do you think of this?" And like by having you and some other people, it's been my target market as well. So something that's been appealing to you guys has also really helped me
Mm.
to know that I'm on the right track with it.
I love the community. I think it's one of the
Yeah.
unexpected benefits of the course that I probably
Mhm.
didn't think about as much when I set this up versus now, because now it's just this beautiful little group of people that we are just championing, whatever that word is, each other's businesses and each other,
Yeah.
and offering support and are all understanding what's going on. So yeah, it's been very, very cool and nice to see all that interaction and support happening in the community in the back end as well. So that is cool. And did you find when you did the brand board exercise that was the thing that really helped bring it all together for you, or was it just as things were developing as the brand went along?
I would say it was definitely a bit of both. By doing the brand board, it gave me like a clearer picture of where I was going and what I was doing. Because I guess I already knew what I wanted to do, but by seeing it on paper really helped me be like, "Oh, yeah, it makes sense now." Um, and then also tweaking, like, the fonts I was using, because that was, I guess, another thing. When I was doing my social media posts, I was using all these random fonts because I didn't know what I was doing, let's face it. So, um, I've kind of been able to really intertwine kind of using the same fonts and having the same branding for everything, and I think it looks really pretty when you
I
have that
think
as well.
it's beautiful. It's just those little things that until you know, you just don't know. And
Yeah,
it's can sometimes people are just scared off because they're like, oh, I don't have the funds in startup to go invest in, getting a graphic designer to do all these things, which would be wonderful. But if we know where to look and we know how to do it, then we can come up with stuff that's pretty awesome.
mhm,
So, and your branding is
yeah, for sure.
definitely one that represents that. So it's very nice. So, all right, we've done marketing, we've done sales, got the business stuff set up. Ooh, big one. Know your numbers. How did you go on the finance side?
Oh,
Was that something that you had your head around
goodness.
before, or was that new, or what was your learnings?
This was so new to me, and very overwhelming. I'm probably not as passionate about numbers as you, Sarah,
That's all right.
but it was very helpful to have you to be able to, like, guide me through that because
Mm.
I'm not very good at just doing guesstimates and things. Um, and, like, it will continue to be ongoing guesstimates, and I now know that and understand that, and I'm getting a little bit better with being okay with that for now. Um, but yeah, like, I guess it was also, like, the layers of the numbers that you need to know, um, which I was not really I was just like, "I need to charge for my products." But even that, like, I was very much undercharging,
Mm.
and maybe that was part of the fact of running it as a side hustle, not as an official business. That was I don't know if I should be saying that. Um,
Depends what.
but
I think you're allowed to have a hobby business and learn,
yes, and
earn
that's
a bit.
why I was like,
It
if
was
I
a
don't
hobby
have
business. Hobby business.
my hobby business exactly
Yeah.
under 5,000,
Whatever that limit is, we were under that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Um, and so I yeah, I was like, I just know that I need to charge for my product. I wasn't thinking about all the other side of like layers of things of even like knowing my own worth and what to charge for my own like skills of making the pieces. I was just kind of like, oh, well, do people really want to pay for that? So, but I've found also that it's almost made the business more credible by charging higher prices than what I was charging because people are like, "Oh, well, if you're paying that, it's almost that it's gonna be better quality." So yeah, I found that interesting myself, so
Absolutely. And I remember when we were first doing the pricing calculators for you, do you remember how much it jumped from your initial price to what you're charging now? How many times more is it? Is it 3 or 4 times what you were initially
Um,
charging?
I some is like 3 times, and I would say another item is probably, 4, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit over 4 times.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy, isn't it? And
It is different.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, until you understand your numbers and how it works, you don't know. So you're just
Yeah.
guessing, and you'll be running this business going, "How I can't get this business to the next level," and not understanding why, when it's because you might be and it might be as simple as just missing some key figures that should be putting in there that aren't there, or whatever it is, that you can be running a business backwards and not even realize that you're doing it. And
Yeah.
I love what you said as well, about you valuing your own time and valuing what you do, is when you take it out of that mindset of looking at it just like it's a side hustle and a hobby to turning it into a business. And then when as well, you're the one that sat down and done all of your pricing and done all your calculations, and you know why you're charging that, and you know that's the right rate, then you can feel more confident. So you can stand behind your pricing and go, no, 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 this is my pricing. This is why it's this
Mhm.
pricing. And I love what you said about it making your business more professional, because you actually are charging the pricing that you should be charging.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
love those key takeaways from that. So that
Mm.
is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful app. So very cool. Um, all right. So know your numbers. We did lots of different stuff because you're a pretty creative type person. So this is a little bit out of the creative realm, although your day job is, you know,
Yeah,
yes, yeah, it's a bit sciencey, so who knows?
it's yeah.
The
And, I guess it was just purely because it's business, like, I help my husband with his business and things like that, so it's not like I was completely oblivious to it,
Mhm.
but because I was running it as that side hustle, I was just like, "Oh, no, I can't be doing that, and
Yeah,
I can't be charging these prices,"
yeah,
because I guess it was, yeah, that mindset
belief.
that you've spoken about quite a lot of, like, yeah, changing your mindset to knowing your worth.
Absolutely, and that's just a
Yeah.
perfect example of it, and you are worthy, so very, very good. Okay, so from there, where did we go to? So next one after that might have been profile and partner. So was
Mhm.
this something you're expecting? Have you thought more about this? Is there anything you plan on implementing? What were your thoughts?
Oh, goodness, I was, again, overwhelmed with this. And I have definitely, I think, I definitely want to find some micro influencers. So if anyone listening is a micro influencer, that's interested, get in touch with me. But at the moment, I'm just trying to juggle all the things.
Mhm.
But I guess I didn't expect I hadn't even thought of things in this space, really, of you kind of see on Instagram, small businesses doing the like this page and 10 different pages to get, um, to win some freebies. But I didn't really feel like Milky Lane would fit into that
Mhm.
space because it is so custom and personalized. It doesn't really go, I guess. But yeah, I feel like when I've got a few other things sorted out, I'm going to be reaching out to some people, which is exciting.
I love that, because a big part of that is building your profile, and, that's
Yeah.
very different to you having this as a side hustle when you're now going, "All right, this is my business, this is putting it in the spotlight." And then the other part of it is that we cover is the partnership. So that's what we're talking about here with all
Mm.
the different partnerships and collaboration
Yeah.
opportunities. And, I think you brought up a great one at the start, which we probably haven't talked about in this, your course together before, is all of the people that in that birth workspace that are sharing and supporting you already. Imagine the
Yeah.
awesome partnerships you could form with those people.
Yes,
So, if
exactly.
they're already starting to form and bond, you could do some
Yeah.
awesome stuff in that space and support each
Yeah.
other. And they are all beautiful people in that space. So that's
They are
even
beautiful people.
nicer. So
Yes.
look forward to seeing some really cool stuff happening out there for you. Micro
Yeah.
influencers, message us, let us know.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yeah,
That would be
exactly.
cool to
Please
see a
do.
few little collabs. That would be very fun. All right. And then after that, we did the systems module. So this was about building out the 4 key systems in your business and looking to really systemize the business to get ready for scale and turning it into a proper business, I guess we could say. What were your learnings on that? What did you think?
Oh, I don't think I've done a lot on this module, to be quite
That's
honest.
all right. I think it's one of those things that you sort of
Bringing
add
out all my
in,
tricks, Sarah.
thought you out. I should have gave you a heads up with that so you could have been like, yeah, no, I've done this. Oh, God. No, that's okay. And I think it is one of those things that grows and develops as the business grows and develops. When you start building out the systems and processes when you've literally just launched. So we'll let you get through that. And now when
Yeah,
you start delivering your product, you're going to start building out your product system and, so on and so
exactly.
forth. So we'll
Yeah.
give you time. So that's
I
really
have some
cool.
ideas. They're just not quite down on paper yet. So,
That's all right.
yeah.
That's okay. And then we went on to the scale module. So this was about the plan that we have to get your business to lifestyle stage. So what were your thoughts in this? You know, did did you have an idea of where you wanted this business to go beforehand?
So, ultimately, I would love to be able to drop some days of my, or all my days of my day job. Um, and maybe one day that is achievable. But right now, I guess I'm still in that very much of hustling. Um, so the end goal, like even if I was to drop a couple of days of work, to then be able to do this and then spend time with my kids or be able to do drop off and pick up from childcare and school, that would be incredible. Whereas at the moment, it's kind of like I'll do drop off, my husband does pick up. So yeah, that makes it a
Just
bit
more
hard.
balanced. Yeah. I love that.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, like, we don't have to have these, you know, crazy big goals. Like, yes, we might have these huge financial goals might want to do, but sometimes it's just about those simple things. Like,
Mhm.
just having the ability to pick my kids up, like, not leaving them in care all day, like, having that, like, that's something I know for us as mums, and I'm sure a lot of other parents that are listening, it's so important and it's something that is hard and one of the big reasons we go into this entrepreneurship world to be able to have. So, and shout out to any of the employers that might be listening. Maybe this is something that you could implement for your staff so they don't want to
Right.
leave you and set up businesses. Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, very fun. So that was the scale plan. So it was about, yeah, just building the business out to that stage and putting plans in place
Yeah.
around that. Then we
Yeah.
did the launch plan. So we've talked about a fair bit of the launch stuff already. So, Abs, what are your key takeaways for the course? What did you like? What did you not like? Give me everything.
Well, oh goodness. I should be more prepared for this, Sarah. Come on.
I should have sent you through the questions, but to be honest, I had a few things dotted down, and I don't know whether I've covered any of them. So you would have been blindsided no matter what.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I absolutely love being able to message the group or write up on the group Facebook wall, which is now changing. Um and then be able to message you, Sarah, because some things I was like, I'm so over my head with this. I don't know. I've never had any experience in this, whatever module we're doing. Um, so just being able to say that and kind of get some help to work through that. And I guess the other thing of like, because my product is custom, that was trying to find, what am I trying to say? Goodness, sorry. Trying to find, like where I fit it
Mm,
in a way of like, it's not just off the shelf or it's not something that people, they need it, but they might not realize how much they need it and like what breast milk jewelry signifies or keepsake jewelry as well, to them. So I guess trying to work out the wording and all of that was really important for me and the business because I was just advertising breast milk jewelry and without having that messaging behind it, which yeah, is obviously really important. Um, what else? It was just all really good because I wouldn't have launched at the end of the day. Like I wouldn't have a website. I wouldn't have a registered business, all the things. It's just made me do it as well. So
That
yeah,
accountability piece. I love that.
yes, exactly.
That is so good. Now, I feel like um, we need to, now we've talked about the, getting clear on the messaging. For people listening, let's talk through why they want breast milk jewelry. Let's go into a bit of a conversation or, DNA jewelry. Let's, if anyone's listening to this going,
Yeah.
what are they even talking about? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
let's dive in, help these guys out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what got you into it? What got you interested in DNA inclusive jewelry?
So, it was around my daughter. She was around 12 months old, and I guess a lot of people are like, "Oh, at 12 months, you stop breastfeeding." I didn't stop breastfeeding for a long time after that, but I was just really worried that I wasn't able to capture the moment of breastfeeding and the little bloody fingers grabbing at my face and all of them little things. And I was like, how can I like signify this? And I went back to work when after I had her and she was only 5.5 months. So I just really felt like breastfeeding was like my connection to her because I wasn't there for all the little things, but I'm like, at least I can still breastfeed her and would have that time. So I guess that was like, for me, I just really wanted to be able to cherish that and have something that I'm like, well, I've got my breast milk. I've got that memory within that breast milk. So yeah,
It is
it was,
hard. Like, I like hearing you had to go back to work at 5.5 months and still breastfed for so much longer after that is awesome because
mm,
with my first, I had my business and had to go back to work pretty fast. And it was so hard to keep up the breastfeeding. I think I got to about 9 or 10 months with her, and
yeah.
that was hard work. So for you to do that, that is amazing. And for anyone that's listening, like, you might be able to relate to how challenging breastfeeding is, like to get
Mm,
started and how much of your life it takes up and how, you know, it's just a journey. But it's also
yes,
one of the most special
absolutely.
things that you could possibly do. Like it's just
Yeah.
gorgeous. So,
And I guess it's the thing of like you get the highest of highs and the lowest of lows almost like, and all them times in between. And I'm like, how I just didn't know how to capture it. And that's all for me that really resonated of like, I can capture it in this way.
oh, it's so beautiful. And I am excited because some people listening might know that I had a home birth for Harry, my last bubba, out at the farm. And so it was honestly, and I've had a few people say, because I've mentioned it a couple of times, they're like, can you do a podcast episode on the home birth? I'm like, I'm not sure how that fits into business.
Really?
Maybe I might have to do it because I've been asked like 5, 6 times now. So we'll see if I get asked a few more times after this episode, I'll put it in there, guys. And sorry for anyone that's not
I'll do
interested.
mine for you if you want to, Sarah.
Let's do it. I love a birth story. But yeah, so I had
Yeah.
this absolutely incredible, empowering birth story. We did have a midwife that was coming, but she didn't make it in time. So it was just me and Jack there and just, out on our property. And it was just the most incredible experience. I'm still in awe. It still gives me goosebumps. I just love everything about it. So I have my placenta sitting in my deep freeze out at the farm. And so I've been talking to Abby because, my birth story and my birth experience was probably one of the most awesome experiences in my life. So I want to cherish that. And so I'm going to get her to make a DNA piece of jewelry. We're going to get a ring made with my placenta in, which is so exciting. And that might be super weird for some people out there, and that's okay. But for me, it is awesome. So
Yes,
I
for
am so
sure.
excited. So I'll make sure I share that and put it on socials when I get that done too.
Yes.
But it is going to be amazing. And like, yeah, just, I don't know, to have something that can remind you of this time because it goes so fast too. Like, you
Oh,
just so
absolutely.
fast. Like,
Yeah.
healthy babies aren't babies
Yes.
anymore, Abby. Like,
Oh my goodness. Finna
how did this
turns
happen?
1 tomorrow.
Oh my
Crazy.
God. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God. That is mental. So, yeah, it's fleeting. So, I think your business is such a beautiful, perfect thing to have out in the world. And I'm So glad that you've launched it and you've got it out there because it
Thank
is
you.
something that needs to be out there making impact. So, if
Mhm.
people are looking for your business, Abby, if they're trying to find you and they want to know more, or if they want to download a copy of the guide, where do they go? Where do they find you?
Okay, so my website is milkylanejewellery.com. Jewellery is spelt the Australian way, not the American way. My
Mm,
Instagram is at Milky Lane _ jewellery, and Facebook is Milky Lane Jewellery Co.
perfect. Awesome. I will
Yeah.
put all of those in the show notes as well so everyone can check them out. But Abby, it has been so good having you on the show today
Thank you for
and
having me.
sharing your experience with the world. And I am so excited to follow along in the community and on social media and see how this all goes. And yeah, I know it's going to be something big, so it's going to be fun.
So exciting, isn't it?
So exciting. Thanks, Abs.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.